Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Conversations with Carp. I'm Steve Carpenter, Sports Information Director at Hutchinson Community College, and your host for this podcast. While we aren't on the fields or courts, this podcast is our way to keep Blue Dragon Nation in touch with our coaches and what's going on with Blue Dragon athletics. My guest today is Hutchinson Community College women's basketball head coach John Ontjes. Coach Ontjes and the Blue Dragon women just completed a 28-4 season, John's 13th season at Hutchinson. They won a Jayhawk West championship and bowed out of the Region 6 tournament in the semifinals and were prepared to go to the national tournament when COVID-19 decided to rear its ugly head and change our lives for the moment totally upside down. John, first of all, welcome to the show. And first question I've got for you, you go in a matter of days from finding out with the selection show that we were playing Tyler, prepping for Tyler, then you find out the tournament was going to be postponed until the middle of April, and then all of a sudden it was done. I mean, how surreal was that for you, your coaching staff, and your players to go through those really unsettling times?
It's really been different in nothing we've ever really seen ever before. It was hard, just the way we ended the season by losing to Barton in the region semis, and then coming back and being excited about getting another chance to go to the national tournament, and then it being postponed, and then finally being canceled. So it's just something that we've really never dealt with, but we're trying to get through it all.
Yeah, for the six sophomores that ultimately played their last games for the Blue Dragons in Dodge City, they had to be extra tough on them. What were kind of some of the thoughts of Abby Ogle and Michaela Van Etten and those group of sophomores that won't be returning next year?
Well, they were very sad to see their careers end here at HCC. I know they were looking forward to going to the national tournament and playing because they were a part of a team 2 years ago that didn't win the league or didn't win the region, but went and played in the Final Four. So they know how important the national tournament is, and I think they were looking forward to going and playing there.
What has the new normal become for Blue Dragon women's basketball?
Oh, I don't know if there's a new normal. I mean, we try to be as consistent as we can. The league is really changed and gone different directions with adding full scholarships and then adding, you can basically play with all out-of-state kids. But we've constructed our team around a lot of important in-state kids. You look at the Abby Ogle this year. She was Player of the Year for us. She had a great 2-year career. But we continue to do the same things, with our basketball team on the floor and also with recruiting.
With that, obviously recruits can't be on campus. You guys can't go visit recruits on in-house visits. With recruiting and even deeper, prepping your returning players for next season. Talk about some of the things you and your staff are doing to communicate with those players.
Well, first of all, we're making sure that our kids stay on track with recruit or with in the classroom. That's really the most important thing is them getting through this semester, finishing up strong, to have an opportunity to go on and play. In regards to recruiting, we'll have a big class to sign. We're trying to do as much as we can over the phone, FaceTime. In which, normally this time of year you're flying in kids and you're doing, visits on campus. So, we're going to have to be creative in how we sell the school and doing things over the phone, and hopefully we can get some kids to understand that this virus may not allow us to get them on campus to see what we have to offer.
Looking back to this past season, obviously you and I spent a lot of time together. I was the play-by-play announcer for women's basketball this year on Blue Dragon Broadcast. I think a lot of teams would take 28-4 in a conference championship every year, as well we would. But in getting that 28-4, I don't mean this in a bad way, but oftentimes it wasn't smooth sailing for this team, mainly because of injuries. How did you keep this team on course to have the year that you did?
We just had to have. We played with a lot of different lineups. Like you said, we had a lot of injuries. We really didn't, look at the negative side of things. It never really, we never really tried to, use excuses, for our ball club. And we had a lot of different kids step up. And, one of the kids that played extremely well through the middle part of the season was Lauren Mapasua. Michaela Van Nett, she fought injuries, all season long with a knee. And Abby was out multiple games. Brooklyn was out. But we just kind of had different kids step up and play important roles. Every kid had to learn multiple positions for us. So it definitely was a different year, but also we used it to grow, to figure out different plans to for our team to be successful.
Along those lines, coaches always say they continue to learn. What did this season, going through with as many changes as you had to make, not only between games, but heck, even during games, what did this season teach you as a head coach?
Oh, you can't take anything for granted. That you can only prepare for each and every moment with what you have, and be positive about it, and hopefully like you said, you teach the kids that everything's not going to go smoothly in life, and it definitely wasn't smooth for us, and we just had to do the best we could, and when you go 28-4, you have a pretty good season.
Of those 6 sophomores, and I refer to Abby Ogle, Michaela Van Nett, Lauren Mapasua, Jalecia Cooper, Sasha Francis, and Brooklyn Betham, have any made any definite plans for next season? I think there's one commitment out there, but talk about at least as you know it at this point, the plans of the 6 sophomores moving on from Hutchinson.
Well, really, the only plans that I know for one of our sophomores is Abby Ogle, and she's committed to West Virginia. And the other 5 kids are in that dilemma now of finishing school and trying to figure out what the best place for them to be able to play next season in school next year. So they're going to have to do a really good job in the classroom and finishing up strong, and then being able to find a place really without being able to take visits. Hopefully they were setting up those relationships as the season was going along, and they have a good idea. But I'm sure we'll find out here in the next 2 or 3 weeks with the rest of our sophomores.
Well, John, appreciate the time, and already looking forward to next season. Like I said, we didn't get to finish this season like we wanted, but always exciting, and always appreciate you taking some time with me and let me be around your program.
Thanks, Carp.
My thanks to women's basketball coach John Ontjes for being my guest today. That'll wrap up another episode of Conversations with Carp. Thank you all and for joining me. We'll talk to you again soon. So long, everybody, and go Blue Dragons.